Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of WorkHARDaholics. In today's show, you'll learn about intellectual property, how to manage and take care of that trademark, that copyright. Where do you go to find out more information? We'll tell you. We'll also share with you some options of ways to celebrate and honor that woman leader and entrepreneur that you know, and the side effects of bad customer service on this episode of WorkHARDaholics. Welcome to the WorkHARDAholic Show with your host, the original WorkHARDaholic, Shirley Crawford, author, speaker, and small business consultant for over 20 years, helping you to work hard, play harder, and business better. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to WorkHARDaholics. Okay, it's still Women's History Month. And so we are honoring, we're celebrating. I have yet to make it to the exhibit at the Smithsonian, but I am going. As I mentioned to you all before, to me, it just looks like a big chessboard because that's how my mind thinks. But they have an exhibit at the Smithsonian Garden. So for those of you who are outside of the United States, or for those of you who are not as closely located to Washington, D.C., let me tell you, that's where it is. So your Smithsonian museums, which are federal government-funded museums, are located right in Washington, D.C. And in the midst of the Smithsonian Gardens, they have women. I still believe that they're made from a 3D printer. When I go visit, I'm going to confirm that. But they have women who 120 women who are involved in STEM. And so it looks very exciting. I'm very excited to see it. I want to honor it. I want to celebrate it. I also want to know why they're all orange. I still assume it's a 3D printer. But if you make it before I do, drop us a picture. Let us know you went to see it and you're honoring Women's History Month. Also, on that note, I'd like to always keep you posted about events and happenings that are going on to honor and celebrate the woman in your life and women in general. Okay, so a lot of events have come and gone because the month is almost over. It's not over yet, people. Let's keep celebrating. So coming up on the 30th, they're having an event in honor of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And so you can check that out. In addition to that, there are still things happening at the local and state level. So I'm not sure where you are, but Google it. Find out who is hosting an event. I was very honored to, I got to present Friday night for Mount Olivet Baptist Church. That's actually here in Richmond, Virginia, although we did it virtually. And I got to talk about bias and the impacts of that and and that's also the theme for, it was the theme for International Women's Day, which was March 8th. So, breaking the barriers of bias. And so it was a really good talk. And it was a really great audience. Once again, thank you all for having me. Had a marvelous time. And I look forward to seeing you all again in the future. All right. So on that note, as we're talking about Women's History Month, when we talk about women in general, there's actually a study that say that women are better at customer service, but we'll get back to that. But on that note, as we talk about our word for the week, right? When I look at it, it makes me think luxurious, but it's not. Hey, that's another X word. Okay, sorry, that's a conversation we were having a little earlier. It's lugubrious. Lugubrious. I really feel like one day I'm gonna like I'm gonna have one of those recordings that tells you all the pronunciations for words, or it tells you the definitions, and I'll say the next word, and it'll be lugubrious. And what it means is to look or sound sad or dismal, right? How does that tie into customer service? Well, let me tell you the tale of two cities. All right. They're not really. They're actually on the same street in the same city, across the street from one another. So this past week, I actually worked virtually, and I worked hard. I had all kinds of meetings and things going on. I just said I had to speak as well, and I did it all from the comfort of my hotel room at the VSA Resort at Ocean Keys Resort. Um, I think that's all Atlantic Avenue. I think everything on Atlantic Avenue in Virginia Beach, Virginia, because I love the beach. The beach makes me happy. I'll tell you more about that later. So, I got to the resort and I had booked it last minute because, I'll tell you more about that later. So I made a late reservation. So I got there and I wasn't excited about my room because I didn't have the best view. So I went on to customer service. It was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it was also clear that she was new and she told me the next steps. So I got there late, like almost midnight. The next day, I did exactly what she told me and they moved me. They changed my room. Um, but even also in the room that I was in when there was a hair on my bed. Yeah, that's very disconcerting, especially in the time of pandemic and COVID. And it wasn't mine. Like, you can't see my hair right now, but let's remember it's gray and green. That's what we got, people. There's a little bit of like brown in there, but this was distinctly not a color that was mine. And so the moment that they heard that, they were like, "Let's get you out of there immediately." And so they took care of it, right? That is what one expects from general customer service, right? I expect someone to acknowledge and acknowledge. We talked before about the steps of how you take care of customer service issues, but I expect someone to acknowledge it and then deal with it. Even if they don't agree or they don't have a big solution, I expect it to be acknowledged and dealt with. Across the street from the Ocean Keys, and I say the names because I think it matters. So there you have it. So it's no slander, they're all factual statements, and they're my factual statements, so I'm just reciting and regurgitating them for you. Across the street, there's a place, it's a restaurant I've been to on many occasions, honestly. It's the Waterman's Restaurant, and it's literally across the street from the hotel that I was staying in. So, and we go there a couple times a year, probably. I live in Richmond. It's Virginia Beach. It's a few hours to get there. But whenever we go to the beach, we generally, if we're there for more than a day, we generally go to Waterman's. So the food itself, I've never actually had a complaint about the food, right? The taste of the food. I've never had a complaint. And it's for the strip down there, it's probably one of the nicer restaurants down there. But the beach always lends itself to casual. You literally walk out of the door and you could be on the sand. So people might be in there in bathing suits, but still it's supposed to be a higher tier. It is a higher tier than McDonald's, right? You get the point. All right. And so I go in and, well, one, it was really chaotic. Like, it wasn't it just wasn't a good system. So there are apparently more than one entranceway. I came in one that apparently wasn't the front one, and I stood there for a little while before I was even acknowledged, which is fine, whatever. And so then finally I flagged someone down, and then they tell me that to get seated you should go up to the front. And they told me how. So I said, okay. I admit this didn't start off on the best terms, but I was actually okay. Not great, but okay. I go to the front, they seat me, and I order my food, and I got the I got like the big platter, right? Because I love scallops, and it was shrimp, and it was fish that I could care less about, and there was a crab cake, and like I got that platter, right? We're not skimping. We're having a relaxing meal in the midst of all the work that we're doing. And so I don't know what it is about hair right now, but there was a piece of hair on my food. And I really looked at it like several times, like, am I shedding? Like, what is going on? What's going on? And so I looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and I was just like, I'm not crazy. It is not my hair. I want to remind you people, my hair is very distinct in its coloring, and it wasn't mine. And so I really I just don't know what's going on. I've already been so tired. I don't know what was happening. It was like the curse of the stray hair was following me around. And so I had to reach out to my waitress, and it wasn't easy to get her attention. So that didn't make me happy. Let's just be honest. I want you to understand my temperament while this was going on. I thought I was being real level headed, but I could be wrong. And so finally, she came out once. I had to yell across the restaurant before she actually acknowledged me. She came over. Okay. She was nice enough when she was in front of me, but lots going on. I guess it was a beautiful day. So I guess, everybody's out and about. And they were having the Shamrock run. So I guess there were lots of people in town for that as well. And so she finally comes over. I tell her what happened. I tell her there's a hair in my food. And the question she asked me, I thought was bizarre because it made me question, like, what? So she said, "Do you want?" What did she say? Do you want me to make you a whole fresh plate? Like, what does that mean? I was so confused. I was like, "What do you mean you're gonna make me a half of a fresh plate? Like you're gonna take off the section that had the hair on it and then replace that?" And I said, "Shirley, don't be ridiculous. You just be sensible." And so and I was like, "I'm not sure I understand. What are you asking me? Are you asking me, do I want to order the same thing again or am I leaving? Like, what are you asking me?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." Which still left me to wonder what was she really asking. But that's okay. She was a very nice person. She was very nice. And I said, "You know what? I'm all about second chances. I'm going to believe it's going to be better because I know the food here is normally very good. So if you could take it back and alert them to the fact that there was a hair in the food so they can make sure that they tighten up those hair nets or whatever they got going on in the kitchen." So she takes it back. I wait because, first of all, the food took forever the first time. And so I was ready to wait for it. And it came back and it looked fine. Was digging all through, just trying to make sure everything was lovely. Didn't see anything wrong with it. Said my prayers and wished her the best. The food tasted great, just like it always does. Whatever they cook there, it tastes great. Okay, so as I prepare to leave, this is a long story to take you to a point, but just come along with me for the journey, people. This is what customer service, when done well, will do for you, and when it's not done well, will do for you. People will walk around telling all the bad stuff. Let me tell you. Okay, so I eat my food, and so then when it's time to go, I have to call her back over. Which, okay, now that is getting old, but I had to call her back over, and I asked her for some water because by this time I'm parched and I hadn't seen her since I got my food. And then I asked for the check. And so she brought me the check, and it was just the regular old check. There was, no apology discount, no other blah, 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 blah. And so I did not make a stink about it. I didn't. I really didn't. I actually put down. I even gave her a tip. Not much. Not what she could have gotten if she had, really paid attention to me. Um, but that neither here nor there. So I gave her a tip. And when she came back to get the bill, I had made the statement to her that I was surprised that a manager hadn't come over and said, "We are so sorry to hear that there was a hair in your food." And so, or something. And even when I was sharing with her, I was sharing it with her quietly. I wasn't trying to cause a riot in the midst of the place. I was just like, "There's a hair in my food." And she's like, "What? A hair?" Like, oh my goodness, this is not going well. And I was like, "Yes, there is a hair. Please take it back." So that is how that all started. And so talking about customer service, good customer service. Now, we often talk about the fact that you get what you pay for. So I know, but even then, if there was a hair in my food, I'm like, oh, oh God, this is just grossing me out to even think about that because that has to be a whole system. Anyway, um, if there was something wrong with food that I've had at McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever else, they are very good about apologizing and taking care of it. Period. So when I am paying 10 times more than what I paid at those lower end restaurants, I expect the basics. Like I'm not high maintenance, but I have a standard and they just miss the mark altogether. Altogether. A manager never even came my way. Not even a head waiter. The cook, the chef is supposed to be that good, right? And so for you as an entrepreneur, and for those of you who are just entertained by the story, you're welcome. But for those of you who are an entrepreneur, you have to know that the bad taste, pun intended, that you leave in the mouths of your customers remains with them long after the event. And it's unfortunate, but psychology says that positive experiences are quickly forgotten. I'm sorry. I did not create the human brain. That is what studies show us, that positive experiences will be eliminated and disappear, but negative ones will live forever. So, Waterman's restaurant, the food was great, minus the hair. All right. So, when we talk about someone who was lugubrious, it was me. I was quite sad and dismal about the entire experience. But moving on to happier times, there was a study that showed that, technically speaking, women are better at customer service. All right. And there was a whole chart about the different traits that are known by both men and women. And so when it comes to dealing with clients or customers or being the front facing ambassador of a company, women are much better served to it based off of those characteristics. And so, in honor of Women's History Month, or anytime really, we love to celebrate women. I was happy to pick out one of the women who was touted for her customer service skills. It's Helen Vade. She's the Global Chief Customer Officer at Pizza Hut. Makes me kind of want pizza. I don't know the last time I had Pizza Hut. Huh. Total sidebar. I'm not supposed to eat cheese, but I will. I'm not supposed to. All right, we just have to have like the Benadryl or allergy medication right there, and I can do it. And so Helen Vade also used to work as the VP for Digital Store Operations and Experience at Walmart. So kudos to her for being stellar in customer service. We appreciate you. We applaud you. Keep up the good work. All right. So, want to keep you all posted as we talk about our Do Business Better segment. We want to share with you some resources, some information. I need you all to come closer. I am very excited about this next event. And I don't care where you are in the world. Well, okay, if you're not in the United States, this might not pertain to you. But if you are a global citizen who is looking to do business in the U.S., then you want to know this as well. March 24th. Say it with me, people. March 24th. Enero, febrero, marzo. Is it Marcho or Marzo? Oh, whatever it is, it's March. The third month of the year. The 24th of March at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're having a seminar by the SBDC, that's a Small Business Development Center, about understanding intellectual property and the patent process. I know I've talked about it before, but we talk about it every now and again about the lady in the spinner. Have you all remember that I've had this conversation? If it's your first time here, I'll tell you again. So for you all remember the spinner, you holding your finger and it just goes around and around. And I never really got it. It just didn't excite me. One, I couldn't make it work and I just couldn't. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. But for millions of you, it was an exciting thing. And the woman who invented it did not reap the benefits of all those millions of sales. Why? Because she didn't patent it. And she's not the only one. Last week we talked about the first woman to ever file a patent. So now I'm saying, don't let that be you. If you're coming up with a brilliant idea and then you're losing it because you didn't want to make the investment, or you just didn't know. That's the real thing I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I hit the microphone, Christina. You just didn't know. That won't be your excuse anymore. There's a seminar happening, once again, March 24th, 2 p.m., all about intellectual property and the patent process. So as I share with people, if you ever are doing business with me, the thing you always should know is you pay up front. Why do we pay up front, Shirley? Well, let me tell you. It's very, very simple. I am sharing intellectual property. I do have books. I'm working on actual merch, right? Christina and I are having conversations about merchandise we're going to create as well. And so there is some product, but for the most part, 99.9% of why you come to me is It's all in here. So then what happens when I as I sometimes do, vomit up so much information that you have to go, wait a minute, stop. You have it. I can't take it back. And so at that point, I don't feel like dealing with the legalities of, you didn't pay me, we contracted for, this is what you said we're going to do, but you haven't paid. It's actually only happened to me once. One bad apple will spoil the whole bunch. I guess it's one rotten apple. Either way, still applies. And so I get paid up front because I am dealing in intellectual property. But how do you manage it? If you work, so we're in Richmond, Virginia. Yay, VA. Okay. And so let's say you work for Virginia Commonwealth University. They have the medical field, the medical offices, the medical campus. They have the standard campus. Okay. Well, they have professors, they have doctors, they have all kinds of people who are working for them. Right. And at a certain level, you're required to do research and write papers. So who owns what you work on? Do you know where you go? It's real. So you as a business owner, maybe like I had a client who had her own business, but she also did programming for a nonprofit that she worked for. Right. So when she brings in her curriculum, if you haven't had the conversation about my curriculum I own, I'm coming in to teach it, and they're branding it as theirs, what happens? Let's avoid that drama, people. You can attend this seminar March 24th. All right. And so normally everything with the SBSD is free, but feel free to go to the link and you can check it out for yourself. Next up on our list, very exciting. You can nominate that power woman on your list. All right. And so you still have until April 11th to do your nominations. And from what I've seen, the nomination doesn't look complicated, but you should probably believe in the person you're nominated. And it's their inaugural event, so it should be really exciting. So a lot of times we talk about, don't give me my flowers when I'm dead because I can't smell them. This is a good moment for you to think about the women entrepreneurs. And it's not just entrepreneurs. I always talk about entrepreneurs, but this is actually about women leaders. Right? So check that out. rvapowerwoman.com/nomination. You got a little while longer to make that nomination. And then for the many entrepreneurs in your life, not many, the many, MBL Junior Entrepreneurship Club has some virtual events happening about your business. So helping to develop our youth, our young people to have a mindset for entrepreneurship. Because as you all know how I feel, everyone should have a side hustle. Everyone should have a source of income that is not dependent upon social services, the government. Oh, goodness. Large corporations, none of that. You have to have some way of self-reliance. And the pandemic has proved me out. If you go back and watch old episodes, you will always hear me saying the same thing about this. And the pandemic, all it did was prove me correct. You need to have your own way of being able to survive. Period. Nothing wrong if you think being an entrepreneur is too risky. Understand, it is risky. It's worth it. But I understand if you're not a risk taker. No shade involved in that. If you're not comfortable with that, don't do it. But you should have Avon, paparazzi, wash cars, mow lawns, get up snow. Whatever it is that you can find your way to do so that you have some way of knowing that if everything shuts down, you can still make money. You should have it. All right. And that's also what we want to train our children to do as well. All right. So they can join the MBL Junior and get registered, so they can learn more about not just getting an allowance, but how to get a paycheck. And so on that note, we're going to get ready now for, speaking of paychecks, a word from our sponsors. Ladies, are you looking to move your office from your kitchen table to a space of your own? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you looking for co-working and community? Well, then come join us at the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Visit us on the web at wbcrva.com or on social media at wbcrva. When you're ready for more than just office space, come join the WBCRVA family. Once again, thank you to the Women's Business Center RVA for your support and for all the wonderful things you do in the community. I'm not just saying that. All right, and at this time, we're going to prepare for our social media moment with Socialita Christina.
This check-in where we highlight a couple businesses specifically in the RVA area, and we shout them out and let the WorkHARDAholics fans know exactly where to find specific products or services. Okay, so first I'd like to shout out the Suited Fox. All right, so if you are someone that you know, you're looking for a custom suit, something that will fit your lifestyle, please make sure that you reach out to the Suited Fox. Next, it is Vibes RVA. If you are someone that you know, you are looking to get fit, you are looking to just get summer body ready, make sure that you check out Vibes RVA. I like them because I personally use them. The owner's name is Keandra Washington. She is a personal trainer that specializes in women with hormonal imbalances, specifically endometriosis and PCOS. So if you're dealing with some issues that maybe other people aren't and you're looking for someone that can really help you in that area, make sure that you check out Vibes RVA. The last business that I'd like to shout out, it is Rita Ricks. She is a motivational individual. She is amazing at helping you get on track. Okay, she's a spiritual and business coach, and she can help you with your needs. That's it for the business check-in. Thank you all for checking in. Bye.
Okay, so thank you, Socialita Christina. As we talk about small business owners and business in the community, we want to have a small business spotlight. So if you haven't heard me say that I am a part of the LMR class of 2020, you have not been around. And so right now they are recruiting. Whoop, 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 whoop. I won't say, I feel like that professor, for those of you who said you wanted to be a doctor and you went to school, when we sat in those intro class, I didn't want to be a doctor. PhD, not a MD. When we sat in those classes and they said, for those of you who, this is what I love. They always say, raise your hand if you are going to be a science major or if you're going to be pre-med, and they raise their hands. And then they say, everybody look around, and we all look around, and they're like, over half of these people will not be doctors. They won't be pre-med. And he said, and of the half that is left, they'll be doing good if they get the degree in science. That is terrible. But it turns out it's very true. It's a very complex major. All right. So I say this to say LMR is an amazing program. But one of the things they said when I went for my first intro meeting was, everyone doesn't get in, but it's okay. Keep applying. You can be you. I probably shouldn't have said that already. LMR is an amazing Leadership Metro Richmond is an amazing program. Once again, class of 2020, it brings together a really diverse group of leaders. So it's one thing to be in a diverse group. I mean, that's nice. But these are people who are leading organizations. They're NGOs, they're political figures, they are heads of nonprofits, they're CEOs, they are corporate, they are community leaders. Like, these are the people, like when you talk about, oh, I want to get this done, they're probably in the room with you, which is really cool and really exciting. And it was, for me, one of the most, I have 2 experiences in my life outside of standard family and church stuff, right? Hey, LCC. 2 experiences in my life that have shaped, molded, and determined who I am. So one of them was going to Richmond Community High School and graduating with the class of 88. That's right, I said it. I know how old I am. The other was graduating with my LMR class of 2020. I'm trying to tell you, it was that life-changing. And I've done a bunch of stuff, and it was that impactful. that impactful. So I'm telling you now, I am recommending to each of you out there, if you are in the metropolitan Richmond area, so if you are in Hanover, Goochland, New Kent, Richmond, Henrico, Chesterfield, the city of Richmond, I might Caroline County, King and Queen. Okay, you know where you are. You get the idea. If you're anywhere near Richmond, I highly recommend that you apply. It's an amazing experience that I can't even begin to tell you all about it. Absolutely amazing. And here it is a few years later, and I'm still singing the praises of Myra and her team and the wonderful LMR family. It really is a family. So, um, tomorrow they're having an intro session, so you can actually come on to Zoom and learn more about the program. It used to be in person. I'm sorry. I mean, COVID, what you want me to do? So I highly recommend you check it out. Then there's another session April 15th, and the deadline for your application is April 25th, and they mean it. They mean that that's your cutoff, because the applications have to be reviewed and all that good stuff. And it's not overwhelming, but they are trying to learn about you. So they want to know, like, what's your contribution. There are questions about your thought process about what's happening in this area and what do you think is important and what are the issues that concern you. And yeah, so there are some questions, but it's really not life damaging. You can do it. You can do it. Go apply. Tell them I said hi. All right. So you can be a part of the Leadership Quest class of 2023. 3 years later than me, but it still counts. All right. So wanted to shout out that for our small business spotlight out to the Leadership Metro Richmond. All right. And so on the term of other spotlights, I love entrepreneurs. I do. I do. I love them everywhere, from the person who is hustling, who created something. I just learned about a new chicken salad lady the other day. Like I just so love love an entrepreneur. A person who, because here's the thing, if you work with someone else, more than likely you can project how much money you're going to make. As an entrepreneur, you can go from 0 to $1 million. You can. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but it's within your grasp to do so. Whereas when you work for someone else, it's dependent on the hourly wage that they determine you should receive. Once again, we're not debating being employee versus being the employer. That's not what we're doing. We're just celebrating people who are either entrepreneurs full-time, part-time, side hustle, whatever the case may be. So on that note, for this lovely month of Women's History Month, I've been to a few different events. I don't even know why I picked that up, because it's on the screen. Okay. So one of them was the Iota Phi Lambda. Please forgive me if I'm not saying that right. Iota Phi. I have it correct. Iota Phi Lambda sorority held a pop-up shop actually here at the Women's Business Center, and it was wonderful. Plus their colors are like green, and I don't know what else it is, but I know it's green. And I just walked in and I was like, oh, I'm in love. Everything is green. It was beautiful. Yeah, very much. Money and like grass. Yeah. So peace and prosperity. There you go. Yeah. And so everything was green. It was lovely. So that same weekend, I don't think it was the same day. I think it was the day after. I went to another event. And so I will be sure to post the information beneath, so you'll know the business that hosted this event. And the young lady is so amazing. I've met her several times over the years, and I'm just amazed at her hustle. She has a facility not too far from where we are at the center. And then they opened up another one not too far from a church. So not too far from Laburnum Avenue, they opened up another site there. So I went to 2 pop-up shops, not one, people, but 2 pop-up shops. And I want to, shout out some of the ladies, or I think everyone I bought from was a lady. I didn't even do that intentionally. I just happened to like to help the ladies. Okay, so I don't know if you can see behind me, but I'm going to share some of the items that I got just to highlight. The M&M I've always had, right? So I like oils. So for those of you who because of the fact that I lived in Haiti, perfume doesn't work as well. It's something about what's in it that doesn't. Oil works really, really well as far because I like to smell good. And so oils work very well. So I found a new oil person. I still love Shakur's. Don't worry, I'll be back. I found a new oil person and they're at a location. They are at Just Right Variety, 4320 South Laburnum Avenue. And they had a whole lot more than just the oil, but the oil at that point, that was all I really needed. But they have clothes and NFL stuff. I've been in the shop, but I've only been in like once. It's across from White Oak, where there's like a Dollar Tree and the American, is that American Family? Gold's Gym. They're right on the side next to whichever restaurant that is. So please go support. Tell them I said hi. That's Just Right Variety. That was Jamil. And you can't tell it, but I can smell it through the bag. This smells really good. Yep. Love oils. Another one we saw was Fit Girl Closet. And I didn't know this was like a thing. Maybe I did know it was a thing. I'm just when I go work out, actually in my regular life, I think about how I look. I do think about it, but I can't get too wrapped up in it because I'll get obsessive and then I'll take forever just to get dressed. So I'm very much like the what you see is what you get. But she specializes, and I'll put it this way, where fitness meets fashion. So if you're looking for, she has some really cute stuff, but I'm just like, to go to the gym, for the most part, I'm in the pool. Outside of that, I'm wearing sweats. But we might have to, up our game for our gym time, right? Because we do spend enough time at the gym, we should make an investment. So Fit Girl Closet, let's see, and she's on Instagram at Fit Girl Closet, closet with a K, or fitgirlcloset.com. And then, oh yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I really was shopping. I was feeling very supportive. Okay, so Powered by Faith is faith-based products. I was looking for her name because she was so nice. Tiffany Rochea at yahoo.com. But all of her handles are powered, POWRED by Faith. And I got from her my faith kit. So there was a journal, and I just realized. Okay, sorry, I bought this for somebody else. I'm still holding on to it. I just realized that, right? And so, yeah, a notepad. This was the thing I liked, the 1 minute inspiration, because time is pressing, and the pen and a prayer card, and then I also got, like you see, I got a bunch of stuff. So this lady, I have seen her online. I've seen her, I think, on Instagram, and so it was nice to see her in person. Glossed Up by Nicole, and so lip and skincare. So she had all kinds of like glosses and balms and lipsticks, and as you can see, I don't wear any, but I did. I got the. I'm scared to put it on without a mirror, but oh, that feels great. It smells wonderful. Mm. Okay, Christina, I have to tell me if I look crazy, but that feels amazing. But like I said, I would see her social media all the time. So I saw her announcement that she was coming for the event. It feels great. If I look crazy, remember I put it on without looking. Okay. Then we're supporting our small businesses, right? That's what we're doing. So then I had there are a lot of Mary Kay reps in the world. I just want to point that out. So I don't wear makeup. I'm sorry, Makeup by Holly. No matter how many times you tell me I have to, Holly would like to do my makeup. One day we're going to have Makeup by Holly do our makeup. I'm sure I'll look amazing. And then you'll be very disappointed because you won't ever see it again. We can talk about it. Christina's over there going, we should have her on the show. I actually have talked about having her on the show, but we can see about having her do the makeup. So, because what I need is a simple something to do, because I can't commit to do much more. So I specifically said I needed stuff for my dry hands. For all you out there who have hand sanitizer every 5 seconds, washing your hands properly as you should be, you too should have dry hands. If you don't have dry hands, I don't want to shake your hand. Okay, unless you are, of course, using like Mary Kay products like mine. All right, and then uh, most of you have heard of damsel in defense. Like I've heard of them many times. Like they have um, the mace, which is what I used to have. I don't carry mace anymore, as I explained to the rep, because the last time I carried it, I set it off in my bag, and when I opened my bag, it vapored up into my eyes, and that was like secondary, and I cried for forever. So we don't do that. It's also why I don't have a stun gun, because I know that somehow I am a genius at doing these kind of things. I just know that I could do myself damage. So we had to have another conversation. I'm good for the whistle and some other smaller things. There are some other options I could use where I wouldn't do myself any damage. This I thought was amazing, and I haven't opened it yet, but just because I wanted to show it to you all first. But this is, for me, this is like amazing. So this is your road trip emergency auto tool. So it has the piece at the bottom to break your glass in case of emergency. There's the blade on the side to cut your seatbelt in case of emergency. There are 3 functions for the flashlight, and there's even a strobe one, like when things are happening. And there is, of course, a 110 decibel alarm. Like I don't even want to be standing next to it when that goes off. But if there was an emergency, you wouldn't care. So that was all part of my pop-up shopping and supporting. And yes, so I told damsel in defense. Ooh, ooh, ooh. My last one. So here is the funny thing. I uploaded a video, but I didn't actually put it into this presentation. So at this point in time, I'm going to harass Christina, and we'll see if we can get that in for you all so you can see. I was very okay. So that was all part of our pop-up shop experience that we got to have, especially during Women's History Month. And so we were happy to spotlight all those individuals. Thank you all for all the wonderful things that are now gracing or will be gracing my closet, my car, my life. Okay. So on that note, we talked about the pop-up shop. I want to share with you all our book it moment for this wonderful Women's History Month. All right. And the book is called Be Unapologetically You by, I'm assuming it's Adeline, but it's probably Adeline. I'm not sure. Whichever one it is, please forgive us, but the last name is Bird. You can read. That's the thing about reading. If you're not doing the audiobook or, you just don't know. But I thought it was a wonderful book, and it's all about self-love, in particular for women of color. So I think it's a good read, and it's okay. It's okay. Can I say that again? It's okay if you're recognizing that, yes, we're all women, or excuse me, men, just one moment. Yes, we're all women, but there are special needs that are dealt with each different population, right? So not to harp on all the negative, but right now I'm looking at the Asian population and I am feeling, my heart is breaking for these, it was a woman, what was it, last week, who was like kicked or hit like 100 and some odd times by a man just because she was Asian. These are the times that we live in. And so we're not shirking away from that. We actually have to stop and say, what do I need to know? Right? So a lot of times I need to know something just as a woman. As a woman, I recognize that men do business differently. Men have a different protocol. There are certain things that I say that trigger men differently. And there are certain things that men say that trigger women differently. So recognizing all that. Also, as an African American woman, I don't say black, I say African American. You can have your own. If you are either, you are fine. I just go with African American. And so, as an African American woman, I have a special set of needs. I am grateful to Miss Bird for having a book such as this that says I don't have to apologize about. I do not apologize for the fact that I'm an amazing African American woman doing an amazing thing in entrepreneurship in my community and my society and in the world. You are welcome to join me and not apologizing either, and to pick up this book. I don't know her personally, but I still greatly appreciate the read. Okay? On that note, I want to share a time tool technique for this week. It's been a while since I've done one, and even this one is still different. So we're going to have to ramp up the time tool techniques because I know that many of you have told me that you really appreciate this point that we discuss. So I'm going to make sure that we start incorporating them more, and then we're going to start incorporating them back on Tuesdays as well, for the Women's Business Center at WBCRVA. On that page, we normally do the Tuesday time tool technique. Yeah, it's called something else. It's Tech Tip Tuesday. That's what it's called. But they're in the same family, and it's still all T's. We love alliteration, right? So we're going to make sure there are more of those happening at WBCRVA on Tuesdays. But for now, I wanted to share this one, and this is the deal. How many of you all have been scammed or had someone try to scam you, to catfish you, to tell you that there is a woman in Nigeria who lost her husband and now she needs help to get the money to the States to pay for the bills, or there's a prince or a queen or someone and you're related, or they're trying to disperse their money, or there was one from the SBSD, yeah, not too long ago, when it was a scam. Or Dominion Energy sending you a message saying there's a problem with your account and they need you to log in. Or, you get the point. These are things that are happening all the time. The most recent one, there have been a couple that were recent, which is what made me think about this. But I recall my mother got a phone call saying that her grandson was in jail and needed bail money, and she needed to send it now. And so we're going, no, they're not. But if you don't know, especially if you're the grandma in Virginia and they're off in California or across the world, you never know, right? But there are so many swindles. I don't understand the life of a catfisher, a scammer, the person who spends all their time creating all these plots and ploys. I don't. Um, I've heard it said that maybe they're just really smart and they want to test it. I'm really smart and I don't go around destroying stuff. I don't understand. I use my intelligence for good, not to hurt and harm others. Shame on you. Anyway, so with that in mind, the most recent thing that happened, someone who I don't even really know, I got an email, I got a DM, I got a something. I do know the person. I am in their contact list. And so I do know them, but we're not friends like that. Right. And so they sent me a message. Basically, they needed money. They sent me a message first and asked me, I think it was a DM. They sent me the message on Instagram at that. Must have been Facebook because they don't use Instagram. Anyway, let's tell the story, Shirley. They sent me a message and said, "Hey, do you use PayPal?" And I thought that they were going to ask me a tech question about it, and so I responded with, "Yeah, of course." And so the next comment that they said was, "Hey, I'm trying to pay for this, and it's not working with my account, or I just don't know what I'm doing. Can you pay for it, and I'll give you the $100 back?" I'm not gonna lie to you. There's an entire population of people that could actually really be a conversation, especially those who are either not tech savvy or maybe in a generation that doesn't use the technology. Like for my mother, for example, if you are trying to buy her book, you will send the Cash App to me and then I will pay her. That's the way that works. Right. So there's a whole generation where I know this is applicable. I said, but I know this person wouldn't be asking me for money. There are a lot of layers in between her and me for her monetary needs. And so I immediately reached out to do exactly what I'm going to tell you right now. Then I reached out to her as best I could to let her know that someone had gotten her information. So let's talk about, how do you check to know that it's a scam? There's some simple things you can look at first and foremost. But here's the thing about this message, the message that I got, they were highly finessed, right? So the first time I got the message, the email address they sent it from, or that it said, was her email address. It was closed. But then when I responded, the email address changed. So I don't know if they had a short-term cloaking program or something. It sounds like Star Trek. I don't know if they had a short-term cloak involved because initially it was her email address, but after that the email address switched. And so at that point, I didn't respond to the message anymore, which is one of the things they always tell you, like, stop responding, let it be. And then I did what I'm going to share with you right now. If you receive a scamming attempt and you're in the United States of America, call the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, right? You can call them on the phone, 1-877-382-4357 between 9 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that's the best standard time. Also, you can go online, you can go to their website. You have several options. And so you do not, if someone calls you and says send them money by Western Union, if someone tells you to send them money, don't do it. Period. I don't care what it is. I really don't care what it is. I don't care if you really do owe a bill. Well, then let them send you the stuff in the mail so you have a chance to verify and check. But outside of that, for those of you who have a question mark, check with someone else before you make a payment, because a lot of times they have upped their game and they will actually make an entire website. Do you hear me? An entire website that looks as a clone of the real website. So sometimes you just don't know, but that's why you can call the FTC. If you have a question about a business, you can call the Better Business Bureau. You have options. If you are someone who is of an age or just is not tech savvy, then reach out to your tech savvy friends, because whatever it is they're talking about, it can wait 24 hours. It can wait 48 hours until you know for sure what you're dealing with. So our time, tool, technique for this week is more so a lesson to save you some heartache and some heartbreak. When it comes to someone requesting money from you, I don't care if they tell you it's about your car warranty or whatever. Make them prove it before you pay it. All right. So that's our time, tool, technique for this week. And we're about to wrap this show up, believe it or not. And so for our work hard, play harder moment, on your screen, you might see nothing. And there's a reason for that. This past week, I always tell you all that sometimes I am your roadmap, your example of exactly what we're talking about. So we always talk about, as a workaholic, we do more than the average bear. We have a lot going on. We're here, we're there, we're everywhere. We're moving mountains, we're shaking stuff up. We are the disruptors of our communities. We're making things happen. But a lot of the times we forget about ourselves. And I often tell you all that when your body is telling you, I'm stressed. And we push it down. Next thing you know, we have ulcers. We have swollen joints. We're not sleeping well. We're snapping at people. Everybody has like these body triggers, these body indicators to tell you things are not going well. Losing hair, thinning hair, just a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And so for me, I knew that I was approaching the point where I have so much going on. I have so much going on, and it's amazing. I have some wonderful opportunities to impact my community, to do some great things that I will be proud of as long as I live. But I'm still one person, although I do have a VA now. Whoop whoop. Yeah, but there's still a lot going on. And so I knew I was at my I'd sensed my triggers, all my indicators happening. So I got a dodge. So I Friday, is that Friday a week ago? It had to be Friday 2 weeks ago. I was just like, I have got to do something. I've got to do it. Actually, Thursday 2 weeks ago, I was like, I've got to do something. I'm doing it now. So I did warn them. I did warn the people around me. I'm going to be gone next week. I'm not kidding. I'm going to be out. And I made a reservation, which is how I went to Waterman's and how I was at the VSA resort. I made a reservation, I guess, very last minute for late Tuesday night, because Tuesday we went out to Virginia State University. Thank you again, Jonathan Young, for that invitation. We had a great time. And so went out to VSU, and when we left there, I got in my car and kept driving and went to the beach. I got there late, but I got there, and I was there all week, and I still worked. But sometimes the best thing that you can do when it comes to playing harder is the same thing you'll see on the screen. Nothing. So I admit, while I was gone, I spoke at the event. I had back-to-back meetings all day Wednesday. I had a little time slot on Thursday that was open. But in between, I got to get up and go down to the beach. I saw dolphins. It was like a whole family. I saw dolphins like several times during the week. All right. That's a beautiful thing. I got to have a, a little bit of quiet, you know. I think everyone respected the fact that I needed to be away, and so they emailed me, but my mother didn't call me. I was just like, what's going on? So it was some great moments of nothing. All right. So I highly recommend for you that before you lose it, that you make sure to take care of you, get the rest you need, and that's what's going to allow you to be the full force workaholic that you are. Okay? So until next time, live better, do better, be better, and happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta.
Let Socialita help your business stand out from the crowd by building your brand success through social media management. We're located at 1510 Willow Drive, Suite 100. Our website is www.socialitarva.com. You can also give us a call at 804-484-2001. Again, Socialita.
Imagine Media Lab, in partnership with the Women's Business Center, offers hourly rental to a multimedia studio. Create or edit digital assets for marketing. Record that podcast you've always wanted to start. Voiceovers and live stream. All equipment and software is included in your hourly rental. Located at the Women's Business Center, 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100. ImagineMediaLabs.com. Book your session today. Every day, someone starts a new business, and more women are looking to get into entrepreneurship. Whether it's service-based, product-based, or direct sales, women are looking for business development, understanding the strategy of branding and marketing as it pertains to their business. We interview 3 dynamic women business owners, learn their why, their drive, and lessons they learned along the way in their businesses. We bring you a powerhouse of women in entrepreneurship, encouraging other women to start their own, rebrand, or gain clarity and what they have to offer as an entrepreneur. Join us for this dynamic, limited 3-part series, Women in Entrepreneurship, in honor of Women's History Month, airing on March 29th, 30th, and 31st.
Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Repeat. Repeat.